So let's basically touch on the 4 pillars of health
Yes.
and how those work together, if you would.
Yeah. So with health, like for men, like if you were to consider that there's one like foremost quality you have to have as a man, you got to be strong. You have to be healthy. If you're not healthy, your capacity to do anything is going to be diminished. It's just the reality of it. Like I consider that very axiomatic. It's not really arguable. So how do we stay healthy? How do we be healthy? Uh, Being healthy is not compartmentalized for the rest of your life, obviously. To have energy, to have vitality, to have the enthusiasm, motivation to give every day and do anything, that's going to be based upon your metabolism, your overall durability. So what does that entail? There's 4 things, the way I set it up. These are basic things, but they need to be in place. Number 1 is you have your circadian rhythm, and you have sleep. If you're not sleeping well, if your wake up time is dysregulated, if you're going to bed at super late at 2 a.m., you're going to suffer for it. You can get away with that when you're young, maybe. You're 22, getting no sleep. Okay. If you are 42, getting no sleep, that is going to have some very deleterious effects, quite immediately as well. You're having high blood pressure, having heart arrhythmia, being overweight, that all comes from lack of sleep. That comes from dysregulated circadian rhythm. Like you have to nail that down. And men love to blow this off. Guys love to blow this off. Especially when they're young. I don't need sleep. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Okay, you're going to be dead before you get to that point where you can enjoy sleep. I can tell you right now, if that's your attitude. I'm 35 now, and you get into your mid-30s, you get into your 40s especially, you will start seeing guys in your peer group drop off because they didn't take care of themselves. And the ones who are super high stress and overwork themselves on purpose because they need the cortisol rush and sleep really lousy, they die. I had a friend of mine contact me last week where his father had a heart attack scare, had a mini heart attack basically. So in his late 50s, overweight, very hard worker, but just never took care of his health, chronic stimulant drinker, junkie, one of those guys would just be slamming coffee all day, 1,000 milligrams of caffeine a day. Had a heart attack, goes to the hospital, had to be hospitalized for 3 days, gets out, and the doctor had leveled him, like, you're going to be dead in 5 years if you don't get your health right. Like that's your future. Guys freaked out. Oh my God, like, I can't believe it happened to me. You're not going to be the exception. Betting that you'll be the exception to all your bad habits is a stupid bet. So, sleep. You can gotta fix your sleep and circadian rhythm. And then, following that, you have nutrition. I don't subscribe to a diet philosophy with nutrition with diet. You need to eat this way. The best diet is a balanced diet. If you're a very physically active guy, you're going to need more calories. You're going to need more carbohydrates, probably. If you are very inactive, maybe you've been obese, you've got metabolic syndrome, you've got food addiction issues. Going 0 carb, very low carb, that would probably be better for you. So that's a big expanse of options there. It could be higher carbohydrate, it could be no carbohydrate. Protein intake is fundamental. 1 gram per pound of lean mass, 1 gram per pound of body weight. Your body's made out of protein. You're made out of amino acids. You need to eat amino acids. This is very axiomatic stuff. This isn't ideological. It's like you need to eat food to not die. And you need to eat certain amounts of protein, carbohydrates, and fat to be healthy. The exact amounts, that's going to vary a bit. You can get into the numbers, specificity of the numbers. But these things need to be in place for you to be a functional human being. So you have your circadian rhythm, you have sleep, you have then exercise. Circadian rhythm, sleep, you have diet, and you have exercise, which is, okay, what are you going to do on a week-to-week basis that keeps you physically robust? And, again, I don't have an ideological position. Like, this is the best way to train. Like, the best way to train is the way that works for you. I can tell you from an objective, data-driven standpoint that if you have higher muscle mass, higher lean body mass, and you have a reasonably high VO2 max, you have good cardiovascular health, you should live a long time. You should maximize your lifespan, have a degree of vitality. Whether that's riding the assault bike, whether that's running, whether that's doing jiu-jitsu 4 days a week, whether that's, maybe you love to bodybuild and you want to be in the gym 5 days a week lifting on a bro split. Cool. Like it all works. Everything works in the end. It's finding a system that works for you. I have a training circle of guys, high energy entrepreneur is what I call it. the guys in that group, like they have different options. Some guys train 2 days a week, it's total body. That could work. The minimum effective dose for strength training is about 4 sets a week. That's not that much. That's that could be done in one workout. If you could be doing 4 sets a week for your major muscle groups, you could be doing 20 plus sets. What's best? What's actually practical, reasonable? Like, what are your actual goals? If you want to be one of those guys and be a bodybuilder, I've worked with those guys. You're that older guy, you're super fit, maybe you compete. Awesome. Like, you're over on that side. You're doing the higher volume stuff. Like, you've built your life around that kind of bodybuilding lifestyle. If you just want to be reasonably fit, where like that's not your priority. Your priority is your businesses, your family. Okay, go over here, train 2 to 3 days a week with a solid science-based program. That's going to work great as well. Your results might be comparable to the other guy, depending upon genetics. But you find a system that's nailed down on those fundamental principles: volume, intensity, progressive overload, recovery. Finding the volume of training that works for yourself or the schedule, and you just keep doing that. Then, like I said, anyone can get into the weeds with exercises. Whether a movement works, whether this type of bicep curl works the outer head of the bicep versus the inner head. I'm like, that's a very granular conversation from some of the stuff. Like, what do you think of? I get asked this a lot, like barbell movements. Like, some people think I'm anti-barbell. I love the barbell. But if you're an older guy, maybe you've had lumbar spine issues, you had spinal fusion, like, you don't necessarily need to go to the bar. You just need to do something that works your legs heavy. Whether that's a barbell squat or a Bulgarian split squat or a leg press or a pendulum leg press or lunges, I don't care. I care about what you care about. So let's find what works for you, and you stick with that thing, you nail it down, you find your key exercises or movements, and you just keep doing them. And if you can do that over a long enough period of time, you build enough muscle mass where you're reasonably strong, you can do pull-ups, chin-ups, you can hopefully jog a little bit without having your heart rate get too high. We can test all this stuff, obviously, with body comp tests. Like, this is all testable stuff. I try to always demystify fitness for people. Like, this isn't this guy's thinking stuff up. Like, I wonder if this is true or not. Who cares? I'm just going to say it. Like, but we can measure heart rate. We can measure blood pressure. We can measure your fat mass, lean body mass. We can do basic strength tests. This, like I said, it's very data driven. So if we hit these key areas and we have a system for that, then you should be good to go. You should be healthy. And then whatever your real aspirations are in life, go attack those things. Like, obviously my career is built on fitness. I've made fitness my thing. I know that's not most people. I'm not the average bro person. I decided that I want to make fitness my life. I don't expect that for anyone else. Whatever your highest purpose is in life, go do that, but have that baseline where you have your health. And if you got that foundation in place, sky's the limit for you.